Horoscopes November 21st, 2016. Aries. The rune that symbolizes your sign says plenty about your personality. You're only really happy when you're aiming for something. You don't mind that it's a hard target. Easy ones don't stretch your skills. They just give you a chance to show off. The most appealing objectives are the tough ones that people can't quite believe you've chosen. With your ruler, Mars, in a creative link to Uranus in your sign today, the bravest, most exciting goals can be reached. It's time to move triumphantly forwards. Taurus. Between Canada and Greenland sits a rocky outcrop on the maritime border. Its sovereignty is disputed between Denmark, who administer Greenland, and Canada. Visiting soldiers take down the other side's flag, then hoist their own, and, often, leave a bottle of Canadian whiskey or Danish schnapps for the other side's next visit. Even if there's no resolution in sight, you need to voice your opposition today. You have the skills to protect what's precious, without pouring fuel, or even whiskey, onto the fire. And the future? Astrological influence that will affect you and what it will mean. Now. Gemini. There's many a slip twixt cup and lip. People say this when a process looks as if its outcome is a foregone conclusion. It reminds people to be careful, and not to take too much for granted. And they say it to remind us not to drink too much and do something we might regret. As your ruler prepares to conjunct Saturn, opposite your sign, life asks you to focus on your interactions with others, and the way you communicate today. If you have to be careful, it's only because of how full your cup already is. Cancer. They say the heart knows what the head doesn't. So what happens when our heads seem to have defined a course of action, yet our hearts seem to be stuck? Today it could feel that part of you is on the track, lining up to start, but another part of you is still in the changing room, deciding which knot to tie your shoelaces with. It's okay to be thorough when exploring options, but you don't want to be caught in inconsequential matters when the action is elsewhere. Trust your wisdom and your feelings will follow. Leo. Where's your guardian angel? To all intents and purposes, he, or she, is now guest of honor at a prize giving, receiving a well-earned award for providing you with high levels of protection. It would be ironic if you were to need their help now, during this temporary absence. As long as you take reasonable care, you needn't worry about the outcome of a current process. With the sun moving signs, you're being steered towards creative and exciting circumstances. Explore them unabashedly. Virgo. Sometimes it's easier to analyze the reason that creates change, rather than take advantage of the opportunity it presents. Why has that door just opened? Where did the key to unlock it come from? How about asking those questions later? While you're inspecting the hinges, no one else can get by, and an impatient queue could form. Today, trust that if a door is there, it's meant to be used. And be confident that where you go, others will follow. You have all you need to successfully venture into new territory. Libra. Some say there's no such thing as a coincidence. But how do they know? And what do they mean by coincidence? Are our lives planned in advance by a cosmic architect? Or are they the result of random, chaotic forces? Or is it a bit of both? Whatever the answer, as Mars makes a creative angle to Uranus opposite your sign today, you can benefit from a solution that looks like a wonderful moment of serendipity. Whether or not something is truly meant to be today, it certainly feels as if it is. Scorpio. In The Hobbit, Tolkien's dragon hoards his gold so jealously that he doesn't leave his hiding place for centuries. Sometimes we're so concerned with holding what we have, that we miss opportunities to make other discoveries. especially when we carry our metaphorical treasure around with us all the time. Today brings a chance to put something down and take a step back. You'll know where it is if you need it. See how much lighter you feel? Plus, your hands are now free to reach out and embrace the world. Sagittarius. What do you want? I ask this in all seriousness. More relevantly, I invite you to ask it of yourself. You need to be sure of the answer, for the universe is now posing you the same question. It wants you to be clear because it is a boon to grant you. As the sun moves into your sign today, you need to be careful about what you ask for, because there's a good chance you may get it. Remember those fairy stories about leprechauns and wasted wishes. It's time to give your future some thought. Capricorn. If your team wins, you win. Right? But what if your teammates haven't pulled their weight? Worse, what if they don't respect the part you've played and claim victory as their own? In this case, it's worth looking at the bigger picture and seeing the proud heritage of your shared sporting institution. Your graft has ensured its survival and improved its standing. Glory is a fleeting concept, and life is a collection of marathons, not a single sprint. Focus on that, and your collection of winners' medals today. Aquarius. Consider the Sistine Chapel. When Michelangelo was on his back, suspended in the air, with a paintbrush in his hand, he was not, we hope, under a deadline to get it all finished by tea time. He was creating something stunning, engaged in a process that needed to take as long as it needed to take. The result was a masterpiece. Now, about your current undertaking. Is it not equally important in its own way? As Mercury and Saturn are about to become conjunct, allow it to take the time and focus it deserves. Pisces. Look out, your in-laws are coming, and it's time to spruce up the place. I'm talking metaphorically, but there's a sense that life has thrown so much at you, it's hard to see your path for debris. Sometimes, instead of walking on blindly, and stepping on sharp objects, we must pause and sort out our affairs. When opportunity knocks, you don't want to welcome it with clutter. With a little elbow grease, your progress could be smoother, faster and freer. And your gaze can lift to focus on promising new horizons.